Welcome to my channel. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and like. The Tharion star arena trembled under the roars of thousands of Zanari. Purple light from hovering energy cores spilled across the metal floor, casting sharp, cold streaks. General Vera, pride of the Zanari Federation, stepped forward. Her silver armor gleamed, the three-headed serpent emblem of House Zynar etched deep on her chest, proclaiming dominion over 5 galaxies. Her jade-blue skin shimmered, black hair flowing. She raised a hand for silence. "People of Zanari!" Vera's voice cut like a blade, echoing through the arena. "Today, I prove why our Federation conquers the stars." The crowd erupted, cheers like thunder. Vera smirked proudly, silver eyes sweeping the stands where Zanari warriors roared her name. Her smirk vanished as her opponent appeared. Ethan Cole, an Earth human, stepped in. Tall, lean, in a simple black coat, no armor, no insignia. In his hand, a short metal stick with small orbs at each end, like a toy. The crowd fell silent, then mocking laughter spread, rippling through the arena. Vera tilted her head, laughing sharply. "This is Earth's champion?" she called, voice dripping with scorn, pointing at Ethan. "A man with an iron stick to smash rocks? Has Earth's alliance run out of warriors?" She circled him, armor humming, purple energy core blazing, as if challenging the universe itself. Ethan shrugged, eyes calm. He stood in the arena's center, twirling the stick lightly, a faint ting ringing out. "I'm no champion," he said, voice low, cutting through the laughter. "I'm a diplomat. Here to negotiate peace. Avoid this fight, General. We can talk." His words silenced the crowd, then sparked jeers for blood. Vera paused, silver eyes narrowing. He was tall, but not muscular. His face had features Earth humans might call handsome. But to her, it was weakness. No armor, no real weapon. Yet his eyes, calm, sharp, sent a shiver through her. She brushed it aside. "Peace?" Vera sneered, voice low but dangerous. "Your kind spreads like weeds, stealing planets from the strong. Peace is for the weak, and today, I'll teach you your place." She drew her energy sword, its purple blade flaring like a meteor, light blazing in her eyes. Ethan sighed, eyes flicking over the roaring crowd, then back to Vera. "I don't want this," he said, voice tinged with sadness. "But if the general insists, I'll play by your rules." He gripped the stick, metal orbs swaying, a sharp ting-ting, like a warning. The crowd roared. Vera didn't wait. She lunged, sword slashing down, air hissing. Ethan stepped back, stick spinning fast, orbs forming a blurry shield. Metal clashed, sword blocked, a sharp ring echoing. The crowd gasped. Vera gritted her teeth, attacking relentlessly, slashes faster, stronger, but Ethan dodged or parried, moving like a shadow, precise to a terrifying degree. "All you do is dodge, coward!" Vera roared, launching a heavy blow, her sword arcing toward Ethan's chest. He didn't answer. His eyes flashed. The stick shifted, an orb striking her armor's shoulder joint. A dry crack sounded. Purple sparks sprayed. Before she could react, the second orb hit the energy core in her chest. The armor shuddered. In 30 seconds, metal shards shattered, falling to the floor like dying stars. Vera knelt in the arena, clad only in a thin combat suit, breathing heavily. Silence fell, thick and heavy. Ethan stood, stick still. "I studied Zanari armor before coming," he said, voice devoid of pride. "The energy core's the weak point. Hit it right, the system collapses." He stepped forward, looking at Vera, eyes not mocking, only calm, respectful. Vera looked up, scorn melting away. "Who are you?" she whispered. "I told you," Ethan replied, offering a hand to pull her up. "A diplomat. I do my homework." She took his hand, standing. Silence lingered, but the air shifted. The crowd whispered, disbelieving. Vera met Ethan's eyes, seeing something beyond a frail human. A spark flickered in her, not anger, but curiosity, and perhaps a trace of respect. The air in Tharion's star arena hung thick, reeking of scorched metal and the Zanari crowd's fury. Purple light from overhead energy cores flickered, casting blade-sharp streaks across the metal floor. Vera stood at the arena's heart, silver eyes blazing with rage. She drew her long sword of energy, its blade radiant like a meteor, humming with a low, menacing drone. The crowd roared, cheers crashing like waves, demanding blood. Without warning, Vera charged, sword slashing down with speed that tore the air. The blade traced a blazing arc, aimed at Ethan Cole's chest. But he stepped back, metal stick spinning in his hands, twin orbs weaving a hazy shield. A sharp clang rang out as sword met stick, purple sparks flying. The crowd gaped, unbelieving. Vera clenched her jaw, attacks relentless, each slash faster, fiercer, a storm of energy sweeping the arena. But Ethan moved like a phantom, dodging or blocking, his stick spinning with terrifying precision. "All you do is dodge, coward!" Vera bellowed, voice like thunder, drowning the crowd's jeers. She unleashed a heavier strike, her sword carving a radiant arc to cleave Ethan in two. He didn't answer, but his eyes flashed, cold, sharp. The stick veered, an orb striking the shoulder joint of Vera's armor. A dry crack echoed, purple sparks spraying like machine blood. Before she could react, the second orb hit the chest's energy core. A small explosion, then the system shuddered. In 30 seconds, Vera's invincible armor shattered, metal fragments falling like fading stars, leaving her kneeling in the arena, clad in a thin combat suit, breath ragged. Silence fell, so thick the heartbeats of thousands of Zanari seemed audible. Ethan stood, stick still, orb swaying with a faint ting. "I studied Zanari armor before coming," he said, voice calm, without arrogance. "The energy core's the weak point. Hit it right, with the right force, the system collapses." He stepped forward, looking down at Vera, eyes not mocking, only steady, as if he'd foreseen this end. Vera looked up, scorn dissolving. In his gaze, she saw not gloating victory, but unexpected respect making her tremble. "How did you?" she whispered, voice faltering, hands gripping the cold metal floor. Ethan extended a hand, a simple but weighty gesture. "I told you," he replied, pulling her up. "A diplomat. I do my homework." The crowd remained silent, but the air shifted. Whispers spread, from shock to doubt, then anger. Some Zanari warriors roared, fists raised, but none dared enter the arena. Vera stood tall, breath steadying, eyes locked on Ethan. She had never lost, never been humiliated before her people. Yet this human, lean, unarmored, with a strange stick, had done what none dared dream. "You think this is over?" Vera said, voice low but sharp. She stepped back, hand brushing her combat suit, as if checking she was intact. "This fight is just the beginning. Your kind won't walk over Zanari so easily." Ethan shrugged, stick twirling lightly. "I don't want to walk over anyone," he said. "I came to talk. But if the general wants to continue, I'm ready." He tilted his head, a faint smile, not mockery, but a gentle challenge. Vera narrowed her eyes, heart racing. Not from anger, but something she couldn't name. She had orchestrated this fight perfectly. Earth's alliance came to Tharion, seeking trade talks, unaware of Zanari tradition demanding a combat challenge. Most species knew this, sending generals or warriors. But humans, arrogant or ignorant, sent a diplomat. And now, she knelt before him, armor shattered, honor shaken. "You're no warrior," she said, voice laced with doubt. "Yet you fight like one trained for a lifetime. That stick, what is it?" Ethan twirled the stick, orbs chiming. "Ting ting." "A tool," he replied. "On Earth, we call it a tonfa. Not a weapon of war, but for training, patience, precision, control. Useful for a diplomat." He tucked it into his coat, as if it were nothing. Vera stared, mind reeling. Tonfa? A training tool? She had faced the galaxy's greatest warriors, crushing them with sword and advanced armor. Yet this human with this tool brought her to her knees. She wanted to roar, to charge again, but his eyes, calm, unhostile, held her back. "The crowd wants blood," she said, glancing at the stands, where jeers reignited. You won, but they won't forgive. Leave, human, before I change my mind. Ethan shook his head. I'm not going anywhere, he said. I came to negotiate, and I'll stay until we talk. This fight was your rule, not mine. Vera clenched her fists, sharp nails digging into her palms. She wanted to wipe that smile away, to prove him wrong. But deep down, she knew he wasn't. He had studied her, studied Zenari, and defeated her with preparation alone. She turned, striding from the arena, the crowd parting before her. But Ethan's gaze lingered, haunting her, a promise that this story was far from over. The Zenari Federation's council chamber was cold, purple light from crystal pillars spilling across stone walls, casting sword-sharp streaks. General Vera stood at the room's center, her form-fitting blue ceremonial robe failing to hide the humiliation burning in her chest. The three-headed serpent emblem on her shoulder felt like a burden. Before her, the High Council sat on a raised dais, 10 stern faces, metallic eyes glinting with doubt. The air was heavy, broken only by the faint hum of energy systems and the sharp tap of Councillor Celes's claws on the stone table. I underestimated the human, Vera said, voice bitter, each word a knife to her pride. It won't happen again. She stood tall, chin high, but her eyes betrayed the storm in her mind. The image of Ethan Cole, stick spinning, her armor shattering, haunted her, an unhealing wound. Councillor Cryon, his aged face creased with wrinkles, frowned, claws rapping hard on the table. You've weakened Zenari's standing, Vera. His voice low but sharp, like a honed blade. Humans now know our armor, the galaxy's finest technology, can fall to a primitive weapon. You've made us a laughingstock across the stars. Not primitive. Vera shot back, voice hardening, silver eyes flashing. Precise and clever. There's a difference. She clenched her fists, claws digging into her palms, fighting her anger. That human, Ethan, hadn't just broken her armor with force. He'd studied, analyzed, and defeated her with intellect. It infuriated her, and intrigued her. Tension thickened. Councillors exchanged glances, murmurs spreading like a cold wind. Councillor Celes, golden eyes gleaming with cunning, smirked. Perhaps the general's been charmed by the human, she mocked, voice sweet as poison honey. Or has defeat softened House Sinar's proud heart? Soft laughter rose from a few councillors, cutting Vera like knives. She stepped forward, one step, enough to silence Celes's laugh. I speak truth, Vera growled, voice low but dangerous. Dismiss humans further, and we're fools. They're not weeds. They're a threat, or an ally, we can't ignore. Her words stilled the chamber, only the hum of crystal energy lingering. Council Chair Lawrence sighed, gray eyes pensive. He raised a hand for silence. Regardless, we must negotiate with Earth, he said, voice slow but commanding. They control Arcthium deposits, fuel for our fleet. Without it, Zenari weakens against galactic rivals. Ethan Cole, that human, requests a private meeting with you, Vera. Agree, and learn what he wants. Vera nodded stiffly, but her heart churned. Meet Ethan Cole? Face the human who humiliated her before her people? She wanted to refuse, to erase the memory of that spinning stick and his calm gaze. But Lauren was right. Arcthium was the lifeblood of Zenari's fleet, and Earth held the galaxy's largest deposits. She had no choice. I'll meet him, she said, voice cold as stone. But don't expect me to bow to that human. Celes smirked, claws tapping faster. Careful, General, she said, voice low but sharp. Humans may not be strong, but they're cunning. Don't let him manipulate you as he did in the arena. Her mockery drew nods from some councillors, but Vera didn't respond. She turned, striding from the chamber, her robes rustled the only sound in the silence. Outside, the crystal hallway was empty, purple light bathing her face, highlighting tense features. Vera paused, leaning against the wall, breath heavy. She hadn't just lost a fight, she'd shaken the council's faith, her people's trust. But what unnerved her most was Ethan Cole. He didn't fight like a warrior, didn't gloat like a victor. he observed, calculated, acted. Like a silent hunter. She recalled the moment he offered his hand, eyes free of mockery. "I do my homework," he'd said, as if shattering the galaxy's finest armor was a mere exercise. It enraged her, yet made her wonder, what else did humans know about Zanari? How much had they observed? And what did Ethan Cole want from this meeting? An officer approached, bowing. "General, the human awaits in the Void Garden, per the Council's order." Vera nodded, straightening, silver eyes icing over. She would meet him, but not as a defeated foe. She was Vera of House Zynar, and she'd make this human understand that her arena loss was a mere misstep. But as she walked, a small voice whispered, "A misstep, or the start of something greater?" She pushed it aside, but it clung, like Ethan Cole's gaze, calm, sharp, and enigmatic. The Void Garden shimmered with ethereal light, floating crystal shards spinning slowly, humming like waves lapping at a shore. Purple glows danced across the stone outcrop where Ethan Cole sat, his worn black coat stark against the surrounding splendor. An energy butterfly, wings thin as mist, brushed his hand, sparking a tiny flare. Ethan smiled, tilting his head to admire it. "Beautiful," he murmured, voice low, as if speaking to himself. Vera approached, her shadow falling across the stone, blue ceremonial robe clinging to her form, silver eyes icy. She stopped, keeping distance, claws tightening. "Careful," she warned, voice sharp as a blade. "Touch it wrong and it'll burn you." Ethan withdrew his hand, smile unshaken. "Thanks for the tip," he said, eyes flicking to the butterfly. "I was just admiring the colors. Reminds me of wildflower fields on Earth, vibrant, but fragile." He met her gaze, eyes calm, piercing her invisible armor. Vera sat on the opposite outcrop, a gap between them, voice cold. "You wanted to see me. Speak. What's your purpose?" She crossed her arms, chin slightly raised, as if still the undefeated general, not the one who knelt in the arena. Ethan leaned forward, elbows on knees, eyes locked on hers. "I want to know why you forced me into that fight," he said, voice low but sharp. "Your people contacted Earth, offered trade cooperation. But when I arrived, you tried to humiliate our representative. Why?" Vera froze, his gaze unsettling, as if he saw what she hid. She turned away, staring at a spinning crystal nearby, purple light reflecting in her eyes. "It's Zanari tradition," she replied, voice stiff. "Test an opponent's strength before an alliance. Only the worthy sit at our table." Ethan shook his head, a faint smile, not mocking, but knowing. "Tradition?" he asked, voice light but cutting. "Or did you want to send a message that humans aren't worthy? That we're weeds unfit to stand equal with Zanari?" His words struck like a dagger, precise and unyielding. Vera clenched her fists, claws digging into her palms. She wanted to roar, to deny, but his eyes, calm, unhostile, held her back. She inhaled deeply, voice dropping, almost a whisper. "Your kind grows too fast," she admitted, as if tearing through her pride. "You claim planets, ally with our old enemies, disrupt the galaxy's order. I thought humbling you would slow you down, make Earth fear us." Ethan nodded, unsurprised. "And now?" he asked, eyes never leaving her. "After I broke your armor?" Vera met his gaze, unflinching for the first time. "Now I want to understand," she said, voice laced with curiosity, still sharp. "Your weapon, that stick, how did you know how to break my armor? Zanari armor is a secret, even from allies. The energy core's structure is classified." Ethan shrugged, pulling the stick from his coat, twirling it lightly, orbs chiming. "Ting ting. I watched Zanari battles," he said, as if it were obvious. "Dozens of public videos on the Galactic net. I analyzed how energy fluctuates when armors hit, found patterns. Basic observation." Vera stared, eyes widening. "From observation alone?" she echoed, voice faltering. She trained her whole life, fought across star systems, yet never imagined Zanari's advanced tech could be undone by watching. "Humans are good at spotting patterns," Ethan said, tucking the stick away. It's how we survived before starships or energy armor. Find the weakness, use it. Nothing complex. Vera fell silent, the nearby crystal humming, as if echoing her inner turmoil. She wanted to call him cunning, to accuse him of cheating. But she knew he wasn't lying. He'd beaten her fairly, not with strength, but with intellect, something she'd always dismissed in humans. She stood, stepping to the outcrop's edge, gazing into the crystalline abyss below. "What do you want from me, Ethan Cole?" she asked, not turning, voice low but no longer cold. "Peace, or just a game to humiliate Zanari?" Ethan rose, stepping beside her, close enough to be felt, not threatening. "Peace," he said, voice firm. "But not the peace of the weak. Earth wants an alliance with Zanari, sharing Arcthium, tech, a future. But we don't bow, and we don't fear challenges." Vera turned, silver eyes locking onto him. "You don't fear," she said, almost a statement. "But do you understand Zanari? We don't trust easily, don't ally lightly. That fight was just the start." Ethan smiled, small but genuine. "I understand," he said. "And I'll wait. But Vera, if Zanari wants another challenge, choose your opponent carefully. Humans, we always do our homework." She stared, heart quickening. Not from anger, but a new feeling, a spark of respect she wasn't ready to admit. She nodded once, then turned, striding from the void garden. The ting-ting of his stick echoed in her mind, a reminder that this human, and his kind, couldn't be underestimated. The void garden hummed with the murmur of floating crystals, purple light dancing across the stone where Ethan and Vera sat. The calm shattered as a Zanari officer burst in, armor clanking, jade blue face pale. "General!" he shouted, voice panicked, claws gripping his sword. "The Zyran Belt colony's under attack! Unknown ships, dozens of them!" Vera shot to her feet, silver eyes flashing like blades. "Who dares?" she roared, voice echoing through the crystals, making them tremble. Her blue robe rustled, but her presence was that of a warrior ready to tear enemies apart. The officer inhaled, struggling for calm. "No signals, no demands," he reported, voice shaking. "They're targeting the Arcthium mines, destroying anything in their way. Our ground defenses, nearly wiped out." Ethan frowned, standing, black coats swaying. "Zyran Belt," he said, voice low, eyes sharp. "Near the dark space border, right?" Vera glanced at him, eyes narrowing, suspicious. "You know more than a diplomat should," she said, voice cold but curious. This human, with his strange stick and calm gaze, unsettled her again. He hadn't just broken her armor, he knew galactic geopolitics too well. Ethan shrugged, hands in pockets. "It's my job to understand geopolitics," he replied, as if it were routine. "Dark space is a forbidden zone, ships vanish, signals die. If something from there's hitting Zyran, we've got a big problem." Vera turned to the officer, masking her emotions. "Prepare the warship Windblade," she ordered, voice like steel. "I'm going to Zyran now. Summon my guard, activate the full defense fleet." The officer bowed, sprinting off, armor clanking as he vanished among the crystals. She looked at Ethan, expecting him to retreat, to play the safe diplomat back on Tharion. But he zipped his coat, eyes resolute. "I'm coming," he said, voice certain, as if decided long ago. Vera crossed her arms, silver eyes flashing. "This isn't your fight, human," she countered, voice low but dangerous. "This is Zanari war. You're a guest, not a warrior." Ethan didn't flinch, stepping closer, just enough for her to feel his presence. "If dark space is involved, it's everyone's fight," he replied, voice low but sharp. "Earth has trade routes near Zyran. If those Arcthium mines fall, the whole galaxy pays. And," he tilted his head, a faint smile, "I'm good at finding weaknesses." Vera stared, heart racing. She wanted to dismiss him, call him arrogant. But the arena memory, his stick spinning, her armor shattering, held her back. He didn't boast, didn't challenge, just stated truth. And the truth was, he'd beaten her with intellect, not strength. She smiled reluctantly, a rare warmth flickering. Fine, she said, voice softer. But on my ship you follow my orders. Understood, diplomat? Ethan nodded, smile small but genuine. Understood, General, he said, a hint of humor in his tone. He twirled his stick, the ting-ting, ringing out, a reminder of his skill. Vera turned, leading through the void garden, steps firm. The crystals trembled, as if sensing the storm ahead. She spoke into her wrist device, voice sharp. Windblade Commander, ready for launch in 10 minutes. Have techs check the energy core, reinforce shields. We don't know what we're facing. A crisp response came, but Vera didn't listen. Her mind churned. Who was this enemy? And why was Ethan Cole, a human, ready to leap into danger? They exited the garden, reaching the spaceport where the warship Windblade loomed, its metal hull glinting under purple light. Zenari engineers darted about, armor clanking, checking systems. Ethan paused, eyeing the ship, gaze tracing the exposed energy cores on its wings. Beautiful tech, he said, voice tinged with awe. But if they're targeting Arcthium, they know its value. These aren't ordinary pirates. Vera halted, turning to him. What do you think they are? She asked, voice low, genuinely wanting his insight for the first time. Ethan shrugged, twirling his stick. Don't know, he replied. But dark space doesn't breed fools. They have a plan, and we need to be ready. He stepped onto the boarding ramp, not waiting, as if he belonged on Windblade as much as she did. Vera watched, a strange feeling rising, not doubt, but acknowledgement. This human was more than a diplomat. He was a variable, and for the first time, she felt glad he was on her side. She followed, silver eyes blazing with resolve. Xiron was burning, and she wouldn't let Zenari fall, not with Ethan Cole on her ship. The warship Windblade tore through space, emerging in the Xiron Belt's orbit. Debris from Zenari defense stations floated in the void, glinting like dead stars. Under the planet's faint glow, 12 enemy ships loomed, black diamond shapes, edges razor sharp, no windows, no signs of life. They fired red energy beams into the Arcthium mines, each blast shaking Xiron's surface. On Windblade's bridge, tactical screens blazed, reflecting Vera's sharp silver eyes. They don't match any known species ships, Ethan remarked, standing beside her, black coat stark against the gleaming armor of Zenari officers. He tilted his head, eyes narrowing at the screen. Too lifeless. No engines, no signals. Like living shadows. Vera nodded, claws tapping the console lightly. They're targeting the minerals, not civilians, she said, voice low but tense. This is theft, not invasion. But why Arcthium? It's not just fuel, it's the lifeblood of our fleet. A distorted transmission crackled from Xiron's surface. The colony commander, jade blue face slick with sweat, appeared on screen, voice near despair. General! They came without warning. Our ground forces are overwhelmed. The main mine's about to fall. Hold the line! Vera ordered, voice like steel, drowning the ship's hum. Windblade will engage their fleet. Protect the mine at all costs. The screen went dark, but distant explosions echoed through sensors. A young Zenari tactical officer, eyes glinting metallic, stepped forward, voice trembling. General, they have 12 ships, we have 1. Windblade shields won't hold against sustained fire. He glanced at Ethan, as if blaming the human's presence. Vera turned, eyes unwavering. 1 Zenari ship is worth a fleet, she replied, though she knew the odds were suicidal. 12 against 1 was madness, but Xiron was the Federation's lifeline. She couldn't fail, not before her people, not before Ethan Cole. She faced him, voice low. You said humans excel at finding patterns. See any weaknesses? Ethan studied the tactical screen, twirling his stick, orbs chiming. Ting-ting. Small but sharp. Purple console light bathed his face, highlighting keen eyes. They move too perfectly, he said, voice low, like solving a puzzle. Programmed, not flexible. No creativity, no improvisation. He pointed at a larger ship in the center, its red sensors pulsing. That one, it's controlling the others. More sensors, stronger energy. Command ship, Vera concluded, eyes lighting up. Destroy it, and the rest lose coordination. She gripped the stick Ethan had given her before boarding, a surprising gesture that briefly startled her. The cold metal felt foreign, yet reliable. What if we don't attack head-on? She asked, voice calculating. Use their momentum against them? Ethan grinned, small but sharp. Exactly my thought, he said, eyes glinting like in the arena when he broke her armor. They're too synchronized. A glitch in the system will crash them all. Deploy decoys, make them shoot each other. Vera nodded, turning to the tactical officer. Launch unarmed decoy drones, she ordered, voice cutting. Activate tractor beams to deflect their shots. Target the command ship when they falter. The officer nodded, fingers flying over the console, purple lights flashing. Windblade charged the enemy fleet, releasing dozens of decoy drones, harmless metal spheres glinting in the dark. The Black Diamond ships fired red beams, but Windblade's tractor beams redirected them, making their shots hit each other. The first explosion bloomed, a ship shattering, debris scattering like meteors. The bridge crew cheered, but Vera stayed silent, eyes locked on the command ship. Fire! She shouted as the command ship exposed a flank. A massive energy beam from Windblade tore through space, striking the command ship's core. It shuddered, red sensors fading, then exploded, crimson light illuminating the Zyran belt. The remaining ships wavered, moving erratically, like a herd without a leader. Destroy them! Vera commanded, voice ringing. Windblade fired relentlessly, obliterating 5 ships, capturing 3. The battle ended in 10 minutes, so swift the tactical officer gaped. Vera turned to Ethan, silver eyes flashing with respect. You saw that from a screen, she said, voice tinged with awe. Ethan shrugged, tucking his stick away. I told you, he replied, a faint smile. Humans are good at patterns. Vera gripped the stick he'd given her, heart racing. She doubted him, seen him as an outsider. But now, amid victory, she saw he was more than a diplomat. He was a weapon, one Zenari needed. Ready to board the captured ships? She asked, voice light but sharp. Ethan nodded. Lead the way, General, he said, eyes bright as stars in Zyran's darkness. In the Zyran belt's orbit, Windblade charged the enemy fleet, purple light from its energy core blazing through the void. The enemy's Black Diamond ships glinted, but their movements faltered after Ethan exposed their weakness. Vera stood on the bridge, silver eyes sharp as blades, issuing crisp commands. Deploy decoys! She shouted, voice drowning the system's hum. Dozens of harmless metal spheres shot out, twinkling like meteors. Windblade's tractor beams activated, deflecting enemy fire, red beams slamming into their own ships. The first explosion bloomed, a ship shattering, debris scattering across space. Gorgeous, Ethan whispered, standing beside Vera, his stick twirling lightly, a faint ting-ting, ringing sharp. He studied the tactical screen, eyes glinting as they had when he broke her armor in the arena. Vera glanced at him, a flicker of respect in her gaze. Target the command ship, she ordered, gripping the console. A massive energy beam from Windblade tore through the dark, striking the command ship's core. It shuddered, red sensors fading, then erupted, blinding light illuminating Zyran. The remaining ships wavered, stumbling like a headless herd. Fire! Vera roared. Windblade unleashed energy blasts, destroying 5 ships, capturing 3. The battle ended in 10 minutes, so swift the tactical officer gaped. The bridge crew cheered, but Vera didn't smile. She turned to Ethan. Ready to board the captured ships? She asked, voice sharp, still clutching the stick he'd given her. Ethan nodded, tucking his stick into his coat. Lead the way, General. She led the team to the launch bay, combat armor clanking, preparing to board the enemy ships. But a sudden explosion rocked Windblade, the floor tilting, red alarms flashing. Officers stumbled, equipment skidding across the bridge. Report! Vera shouted, voice cutting through the sirens, hands gripping the wall. A pale-faced technician scrambled over the console. Engine bay sabotage! He gasped, claws tapping frantically. Someone planted a device. Shields down to 30%. Another explosion, smaller, made Vera grit her teeth. She locked eyes with Ethan, silver meeting brown. Betrayal, she whispered, voice cold as stone. Ethan nodded, hand tightening on his stick. Security footage, he said, voice low. Check it now. Vera swiped the console, grainy images flickering. A Zenari officer, Tharion, metallic eyes, armor gleaming, raced through a corridor, dragging 2 guards. He dove into the shuttle bay, clutching a strange device, its red core pulsing. Tharion, Vera growled, claws digging into the console. Seize him! Ethan didn't wait. He sprinted, stick spinning, a black blur down the corridor. Vera followed, energy sword blazing purple, light splashing across metal walls. Sirens wailed, but Ethan moved like a shadow, precise as in the arena. Tharion's 2 guards blocked the way, energy swords swinging. Ethan dodged, his stick cracking one's wrist joint, a sharp snap as the sword fell. The second orb struck the other's temple, dropping him. Vera gaped but didn't stop, charging after Ethan into the shuttle bay. Tharion stood there, clutching the red device, the shuttle humming as engines ignited. He turned, metallic eyes glinting maliciously. You think the void falls so easily, human? He laughed, voice sharp as a knife. They're here, inside the Federation. You're only delaying the inevitable. Ethan stepped forward, stick twirling slowly, ting-ting, echoing in the cramped space. What's the void? He asked, voice low, eyes fixed on Tharion. Who's behind it? Tharion laughed louder, pressing the device. You'll never know! A sharp beep rang out, the red core flashing faster. Vera roared, lunging, but Ethan was faster. He shoved her back, leaping from the shuttle as it shuddered. A blinding explosion swallowed the bay, debris spraying into space. Ethan rolled across Windblade's floor, breathing heavily, but safe. Vera knelt beside him, silver eyes flashing with worry, then fury. You nearly died! She shouted, voice trembling, gripping her sword. Ethan sat up, shrugging, a faint smile. I told you, he said, voice calm. I'm good at finding weaknesses. But this time, we need to find the mastermind. Vera stared, heart racing. Tharion was her officer, a loyal Zenari, or so she thought. The Void wasn't just Black Diamond ships, it had infiltrated the Federation, her own ranks. She stood, eyes icy. Prepare an investigation team, she ordered through her device. Screen every officer. The Void isn't done with us. Ethan rose, stick chiming ting, as he tucked it away. And we're not done with them, he said, eyes bright as stars, ready for the next fight. The captured enemy ship lay still in Windblade's hangar, its black diamond hull glinting under purple light, cold as a tomb. Inside, narrow corridors reeked of scorched metal, walls etched with alien symbols unknown to Vera. She strode forward, energy sword blazing purple, light glinting off her combat armor. Ethan walked beside her, black coat rustling, stick twirling lightly, ting-ting, echoing in the eerie silence. Zenari guards followed, armor clanking, metallic eyes scanning every corner, wary. They stopped at a central chamber, its metal doors sliding open to reveal a robotic entity, motionless. Its face was a blank, polished plate, no eyes, no mouth, reflecting purple light. Pulsing red energy cords linked it to the floor, flickering like veins. Vera gripped her sword, claws digging into the hilt. Ethan stood still, eyes narrowing, as if solving a puzzle. This unit serves the Void, the robot declared, voice flat, hollow, echoing in the chamber. You have disrupted the collection of Arcthium. This is an error. Ethan stepped forward, stick halting. What is the Void? He asked, voice low, sharp, a knife piercing the silence. Why do you need Arcthium? The robot tilted its head, a mechanical, emotionless motion. The Void requires no explanation, it replied. The Void takes what is necessary. Arcthium is energy. Energy is the Void's life. Vera advanced, sword flaring, purple light bathing her face. You attacked our colonies, she growled, voice like steel. That was the greater error. The robot didn't waver. The error was underestimating you, it said, tone unchanged. The Void has observed. The Void has learned. The Void will return, with greater force. Suddenly, a sharp whir cut through. The robot emitted a jamming signal, red waves rippling, making chamber lights flicker, guards' devices screeching. On Windblade, tactical screens glitched, alarms blaring. Vera cursed, raising her sword, but Ethan was faster. He lunged, stick spinning, an orb smashing the red energy core in the robot's chest. A dry crack echoed, sparks spraying, the core shattering. The signal stopped, the robot collapsing, red light in its cords fading. But Ethan didn't smile. He knelt beside the robot, eyes tense. It sent a message, he said, voice low. They know we're working together, Vera. And they're worried. Vera lowered her sword, breathing heavily. She stared at the lifeless metal, heart pounding. Tharion, she whispered, voice bitter. He served the Void. How many others like him are in the Federation? She turned to her guards, silver eyes flashing. Search this ship. Every data core, every device. Leave nothing. Back on Windblade, technicians dove into the enemy ship's data. Vera and Ethan stood before the central screen, purple light bathing their faces. A technician, claws tapping rapidly, reported. General, the data's heavily encrypted, but we cracked a fragment. The Void isn't just ships or robots. It's a collective intelligence, operating through a network of units like that robot. Ethan frowned, twirling his stick. Collective intelligence, he echoed, voice low. It uses robots and manipulated agents. Like Tharion. He wasn't acting alone. Vera clenched her fists, claws digging into her palms. Manipulated? She asked, voice trembling with rage. You mean the Void can control my people? The technician nodded, displaying an image from the data, a small device, red core, embedded in an unknown creature's brain. This is an implant, he said. The Void uses it to control, turning victims into spies or soldiers. They target Arcthium to fuel a large-scale invasion. Vera turned away, silver eyes blazing with a storm. Tharion, she growled, voice low but dangerous. He stood by me for years, and I saw nothing. If the Void's infiltrated this deeply, no one in the Federation is safe. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder, gentle but firm. We'll find them, he said, voice calm. Humans have faced machine intelligences before. They have patterns, and patterns have weaknesses. We just need to observe. Vera met his gaze, heart racing. She wanted to shrug him off, to reject a human's comfort. But his eyes, sharp, unwavering, held her back. You're too confident, she said, voice softer, almost a smile. Not confidence, Ethan replied, shrugging, a faint smile. Just doing my homework. He turned to the screen, eyes glinting. Send this data to Earth. If the Void wants invasion, we need an alliance, Zenari, Earth, anyone willing to fight. Vera nodded, eyes icy. Prepare the investigation team, she ordered through her device. Screen every officer, every ship. The Void wants war? They'll see Zenari doesn't kneel. She looked at Ethan, seeing him not just as an ally, but a weapon. You staying, diplomat? Ethan twirled his stick, ting-ting, ringing out. I'm not going anywhere, he said, eyes bright as stars in Zyron's darkness. The Zenari Federation's council chamber was cold, purple light from crystal pillars spilling across stone walls, casting dagger-sharp streaks. Vera stood at the room's center, combat armor gleaming, the three-headed serpent emblem on her shoulder vivid but heavy. Beside her, Ethan Cole, worn black coat, stick tucked in his pocket, faced the High Council's 10 stern faces with calm eyes. The air was thick, broken only by the faint hum of energy crystals and the sharp tap of Councillor Celes's claws on the stone table. The Void has infiltrated our ranks, Vera said, voice like steel, each word piercing the Council's arrogance. She activated a screen, displaying Tharion, metallic eyes, a red implant pulsing in his brain, alongside data from the Void ship. Tharion betrayed us. The Void isn't just ships or robots, it's a collective intelligence, manipulating our people, targeting Arcthium to build an invasion fleet. We need an alliance with Earth, now. Murmurs spread, Counselor's eyes flicking from Vera to Ethan, laced with doubt. Seely's, golden eyes glinting with cunning, smirked, her laugh sharp as a blade. An alliance with humans? She mocked, pointing at Ethan. After you let a man with a stick shatter your armor, General? Now you want us to bow to the galaxy's weeds? Vera clenched her fists, claws digging into her palms, but she held her tongue. Ethan stepped forward, voice low but clear, cutting through Seely's laughter like an arrow. The Void doesn't care about Zanari or human, he said, eyes locked on her, unflinching. They want Arcthium to build their fleet. Without cooperation we both fall, Zanari, Earth, the whole galaxy. You want to keep your pride, or you want to survive? Silence fell, heavy. Seely's narrowed her eyes, claws tapping faster, but she didn't respond. Counselors exchanged glances, the hum of energy crystals echoing the tension. Chair Loren, gray eyes pensive, raised a hand for silence. What do you propose, human? He asked, voice slow but weighty, like stone pressing the air. Ethan tilted his head, hands in pockets, voice calm. A defensive alliance, he replied, as if obvious. Share technology, armor, ships, Void data. Coordinate militaries, establish joint stations in the Zyran belt. And research how to neutralize the Void, especially their implants. Earth has experience with machine intelligences. We can help. Counselor Cryon, face creased with age, scowled. Share technology with humans? He growled, voice like thunder. You think we'll hand Zanari's secrets to a species that just learned to fly? They don't just fly. Vera interjected, silver eyes flashing, voice firm. They defeated Void ships with a plan from a tactical screen. They broke my armor, exposed Tharion. Underestimating them is foolish. She glanced at Ethan, a slight nod, small but significant. Seely shot to her feet, claw pointing at Vera. You're enthralled by this human, she shouted, voice sharp as a knife. He humiliated you, and now you want us to trust him? The Void is Zanari's problem, not the weeds. Before Vera could reply, an urgent signal blared, red alarms flashing on the console. An officer burst in, armor clanking, jade blue face pale. General! Chair! He shouted. 3 Zanari colonies, Helios, Varn, Elara, attack simultaneously. Void ships, dozens, targeting Arcthium mines. The chamber froze, only the siren's wail echoing. Vera turned to Loren, eyes icy. The Void doesn't wait, she said, voice low but resolute. We don't have time to argue. If we don't act now, we lose everything. Loren met her gaze, then Ethan's, gray eyes weighing. He stood, voice booming. Prepare the fleet, he ordered, eyes fixed on Vera. And Vera, you'll work with this human. Don't fail me again. He turned to Ethan, voice low but sharp. Diplomat, prove your words. If this alliance fails, the galaxy pays. Ethan nodded, eyes steady. I understand, Chair, he said, twirling his stick, ting-ting, ringing faintly. We won't fail. Seely sat, golden eyes blazing with fury, but silent. Vera turned to Ethan, silver eyes flickering with respect. Let's go, she said, voice soft but firm. The fleet needs us. And the Void will see Zanari doesn't kneel. They strode from the chamber, purple light casting their shadows, a Zanari and a human, shoulder to shoulder. Sirens wailed, but Vera felt a spark in her heart, not pride, but hope. Ethan Cole wasn't just a diplomat. He was a flame, and she'd ensure that flame burned bright, no matter what force the Void brought. The Zanari fleet tore through space, Windblade leading, charging into Helios's orbit. The planet's sky blazed, colonial debris floating like dead stars. Void ships, cold black diamond blocks, fired red energy beams into the Arcthium mines, each explosion shaking the surface. On Windblade's bridge, Vera stood tall, combat armor gleaming, silver eyes sharp as blades. Ethan stood beside her, black coat swaying, stick twirling, a faint, ting-ting, ringing sharp. "Prepare to engage!" Vera commanded, voice drowning the system's hum. The tactical screen blazed, showing 20 void ships against 30 Zenari vessels. Favorable odds, but unease gnawed at Vera, as if Helios's darkness hid something sinister. Suddenly, the screen flashed red. The tactical officer, Jade Blue face pale, shouted, "General! The entire support fleet, gone from radar!" Zenari's ship icons flickered, then vanished, swallowed by the void. "Where are they?" Vera growled, claws digging into the console, eyes scanning the screen. "Check sensors. Is this a system glitch?" Ethan watched, eyes narrowing, stick still. "Not a glitch," he said, voice low, sharp. "The void's done something to the space around us. Look, the stars, they're off." He pointed to the bridge window, where Helios's constellations twisted, warped by an unseen force. Before Vera could respond, the void ships moved, unnaturally fast. They merged, black diamond blocks fusing into a colossal supership, 10 times Windblade's size. A green energy wave erupted from it, sweeping space. Windblade shuddered, lights flickering, systems screeching. "Shields paralyzed!" the technician cried. "They're using our own energy against us. The core's being drained." Vera gritted her teeth, eyes blazing with fury. "Activate auxiliary weapons!" she shouted, but the systems didn't respond. She turned to Ethan, voice low but urgent. "You said humans excel at patterns. What now?" Ethan stared at the supership, green light reflecting in his eyes. "They rely on energy," he said, voice calm. "Their weapons, their ships, all need energy cores. We need something that doesn't. Does Helios have mining explosives?" Vera nodded, eyes lighting up. "Hundreds of tons," she replied. "Used for breaking rock, but strong enough to tear ships." "You mean physical ordnance?" "Exactly," Ethan said, a faint smile. "The void won't expect us to go Stone Age." He turned to the officer. "Load the mines into launch bays. Target the supership's joints, where they fused." Vera issued the order, voice cutting. "Do it! And engage manual thrusters. We don't need energy to move." The officer's hands trembled but obeyed, swiping the console. A distorted signal crackled. The screen lit up, revealing Admiral Harper, Earth's commander, silver hair, steel eyes. "Windblade, this is Earth's fleet," he said, voice low but tense. "We're trapped in a void-created spatial rift. But we have physical ballistics, mines, nuclear cannons. Send coordinates, we'll assist." Ethan and Vera exchanged glances, a spark of hope flaring. "Send the coordinates!" Vera ordered. "And Admiral, aim for the supership's core. We'll handle the rest." Windblade launched mining explosives, crude metal blocks hurtling into the supership. Simultaneously, Earth's fleet broke free from the rift, firing more mines and nuclear shells. Explosions bloomed, the supership trembling, joints shattering. A deafening roar erupted from its core, then it exploded, white light swallowing Helios's darkness. Debris scattered, Windblade rocking from the shockwave. The bridge erupted in cheers. Vera gripped the console, silver eyes flashing with victory. She turned to Ethan, voice soft but respectful. "You saved us again, diplomat." Ethan shrugged, tucking his stick away. "Just homework," he said, a small, sharp smile. But the joy died as Lieutenant Clive, a young Zenari, stepped forward, jade blue face pale, metallic eyes trembling. "General," he whispered, voice breaking, kneeling. I sent the Alliance's tactical data to the void. I didn't know. An implant, it controlled me." Silence fell, thick. Vera drew her sword, purple light flaring, but paused, eyes flicking from Clive to Ethan. "The void again," she growled, voice shaking with rage. "They're everywhere." Ethan knelt beside Clive, checking his neck, finding a faint scar with a pulsing red core. "He's not lying," he said, voice low. The Void plays the long game. They know our every plan. Vera lowered her sword, silver eyes blazing with a storm. Prepare a medical team, she ordered. Screen every officer. And Clive, you'll answer later. She looked at Ethan, voice low but resolute. The Void wants to divide us. They won't succeed. Ethan nodded, eyes bright as stars. No, they won't, he said, twirling his stick, ting-ting, ringing, a promise for the next fight. The Zenari Federation's council chamber swam in cold purple light, crystal pillars humming as if sensing the storm to come. Vera stood at the room's center, combat armor gleaming, silver eyes sharp as daggers. Ethan Cole stood beside her, worn black coat, hands in pockets, but his calm gaze never left the High Council. Clive, the traitor lieutenant, knelt before the dais, armor stripped, head bowed, a faint red implant pulsing at his neck. The air was thick, Councillor Seeley's claw taps like war drums. Imprison this human! Councillor Cryon roared, claw pointing at Ethan, aged face twisted with fury. Clive sent tactical data to the Void, and who appeared right after? Earth's diplomat! This is a human plot! Murmurs spread, metallic eyes scanning Ethan with suspicion. Seeley smirked, voice sweet as poison honey. He's bewitched the general, she said, golden eyes glinting. He shattered your armor, Vera, and now you defend him? Humans are weeds, and weeds grow in the dark. Vera stepped forward, eyes blazing. This is the Void's trap, she growled, voice drowning the murmurs. They manipulated Clive, implanted him to divide us. Imprisoning Ethan plays into the Void's hands. She turned to Chair Lauren, voice low but firm. He saved Helios, saved Windblade. He's an ally, not an enemy. Lauren, gray eyes pensive, stayed silent. But Cryon shot to his feet. Enough! He shouted. Detain the human, scan him. If the Void implants, he's no exception. Guards advanced, armor clanking, hands gripping weapons. Ethan didn't resist, only met Vera's gaze, a flicker of trust in his eyes. Do what's right, General, he said, voice low, before being led away. Vera clenched her fists, claws digging into her palms, heart racing. She knew the Void was laughing, and she wouldn't let them win. In the cell, Ethan sat on the metal floor, faint purple light spilling through bars. He examined Clive's implant, smuggled to him by a loyal guard. Using a small tool, he analyzed its signal, eyes lighting up as he spotted a pattern. Repeating frequencies, he muttered. Hundreds of signals, not just Zenari, humans, Clithians, the whole galaxy. The Void had implanted countless individuals, an invisible spy network. He had to warn Vera. The cell door opened, Vera appearing, sword off, silver eyes flashing with resolve. Let's go, she whispered, tossing his coat. The council's wrong, and we're out of time. Ethan smiled, grabbing his stick. Knew you'd come, he said, ting-ting, ringing as they darted into the corridor. They infiltrated a secret facility beneath Tharion, housing classified Void data. Dark corridors flickered with purple light, reeking of scorched metal. Vera led, sword blazing, Ethan following, stick spinning. But at the data room, a figure blocked their path, Councillor Seeley's, golden armor gleaming, metallic eyes glinting maliciously. I knew you'd come, Vera, Seeley said, voice sharp as a knife. The Void is the future. The Council's weak, Zenari stagnant. I joined the Void to overthrow them, to make Zenari stronger under their collective mind. She drew her sword, golden blade flaring, light splashing across walls. Vera roared, lunging, purple sword clashing with gold, sparks flying. You betrayed our people, she shouted, strikes lightning fast. Ethan stepped back, stick spinning, waiting. Seeley's attacked fiercely, but Vera parried, armor trembling. Ethan darted in, an orb striking Seeley's shoulder joint, crack, as the energy core sparked. Vera thrust, purple sword piercing Seeley's chest, her golden eyes fading as she fell. But before collapsing, Seeley's pressed a wrist device, its red core flashing. A signal pulsed, piercing the facility. The Void fleet is coming, she whispered, smirking, then went still. Vera cursed, silver eyes blazing. We have to warn the fleet, she shouted, rushing to the console, grabbing void data. Ethan checked Celise's device, eyes tense. She sent Tharion's coordinates, he said, voice low. The void knows where we are. They raced out, purple light casting their shadows, a Zenari and a human, shoulder to shoulder. Vera contacted Windblade, voice sharp. Prepare the fleet. The void's coming to Tharion. She looked at Ethan, eyes flashing with resolve. You were right. The void wants to divide us. But they'll see this alliance doesn't break. Ethan twirled his stick, ting-ting, ringing. Show them, General, he said, eyes bright as stars, ready for the final battle. Tharion's sky burned as the void fleet emerged, hundreds of black diamond blocks blotting out the stars. In the council chamber, purple light from crystal pillars flickered, reflecting Vera's sharp silver eyes and Ethan Cole's calm gaze. The High Council, faces stern, sat silent, awaiting. Celes was dead, but the void's shadow loomed heavy. We can't fight alone, Vera said, voice ringing, drowning the crystal's hum. The void manipulated us, divided us. An alliance with Earth is our only chance. She pointed to the screen, where void ships massed, poised to swallow Tharion. Ethan stepped forward, black coat rustling, stick tucked away. The void wins by dividing, he said, voice low but powerful, cutting through the tense air. They use spies, implants, to make us doubt each other. But our strength lies in our differences, human creativity, Zenari resolve. Together, we're unstoppable. Chair Loren, gray eyes pensive, nodded. Speak, human, he commanded. What's your plan? Ethan pointed to the screen. Decoy ships to mislead, he replied, voice firm. The Alliance fleet, Zenari and Earth, will deploy unmanned drones, luring the void into a trap. Meanwhile, strike teams infiltrate their mothership, destroying its intelligence core. Vera and I will lead. Counselor Cryon frowned but stayed silent. Lauren stood, voice booming. Execute it. And Vera, this human is your responsibility. Vera nodded, eyes flashing with resolve. She glanced at Ethan, a flicker of respect passing. The Alliance fleet deployed, Windblade leading alongside Earth's Greysteel warships. Decoy drones launched, twinkling like meteors, drawing void ships into chaos. Black diamond blocks fired red beams, hitting decoys, explosions blooming. In the confusion, Vera and Ethan's strike team, in stealth armor, slipped into the void mothership through a breach. Inside, dark corridors pulsed with red energy cords like veins. Vera led, purple sword blazing, Ethan following, stick spinning, ting-ting, echoing in the silence. They reached the central chamber, where the void's intelligence core loomed, a massive entity, half machine, half energy, floating in green light, thousands of metallic eyes spinning, watching. You come to destroy. The void's voice boomed, emotionless, a chorus of millions. But the void is eternal. You only delay. Vera gripped her sword, eyes blazing. You manipulated my people, attacked my home. She growled. The void will burn. She lunged, sword slashing energy cords, sparks flying, but the cord didn't waver. Ethan pulled her back, eyes sharp. Wait, he said, studying the core, eyes glinting. It reacts to frequencies. See how it pulses, like old Earth AI. Random electromagnetic pulses could disrupt it. He pulled a small device from his pocket, a modified Earth tech emitter. The void roared, metallic eyes flaring. You cannot stop us. A green energy wave surged, pushing the team back. Vera blocked it with her sword, armor trembling. Ethan darted forward, activating the emitter, electromagnetic pulses rippling. The core shuddered, metallic eyes flickering, green light dimming. Now! Ethan shouted. Vera struck, purple sword piercing the core. Ethan hit the device's trigger, an electromagnetic explosion erupting, white light swallowing the chamber. The void core shattered, its roar fading, the mothership trembling. Withdraw! Vera ordered, pulling Ethan through collapsing corridors. They escaped as the mothership exploded, blinding light illuminating Tharion. The Alliance fleet cheered, Zenari and Earth ships standing firm amid debris. But before the void core died, a signal pulsed, its emotionless voice echoing. We will return. On Windblade's observation deck, Vera and Ethan stood side by side, staring at the stars through the window. Tharion was calm again, but darkness lingered. We won a battle, Vera said, voice low, silver eyes glinting. But the war's not over. Ethan smiled, handing her his stick, orbs gleaming under starlight. Then we'll fight together, General, he said, voice firm. Vera took it, the cold metal like a vow. She looked at him, no longer the human who broke her armor, but an ally, a flame. We're not just an alliance, she said, voice soft but strong. We're the future, humans and Zenari, facing the universe's darkness. Ethan nodded, eyes bright as stars, the ting-ting of the stick ringing, like the heartbeat of a new era.